earth is our mother, she will take care of us. The earth is our mother, we will take care of her.
They've been here now for the last 10 years and it's been a very hard time living with them.
The earth is our mother, we will take care of her. The earth is our mother, she will take care of us.
They're a law unto themselves. It's their way of life, isn't it? They don't care a damn about anyone, do they, really?
The earth is our mother, we will take care of her. Hey, younger ho,
The hippies
younger,
of
hey,
Tipi
young,
Valley,
young,
14 miles north
hey,
of Carmarthen,
younger
wanted to
ho.
break away from the modern world. But the hostility of local farmers has been growing, and now the modern world is to decide the hippies' future. The Neville Council has taken the lead after years of complaints and problems, and are now challenging the hippies' right to live on their land. Next Monday in London, the High Court will start to decide whether the council correctly followed procedure trying to evict the hippies, because they've no planning permission for their teepees. Dozens of families may then face either leaving their homes or staying and breaking the law. They'd arrived from all over the world to pursue their own individual and to many alien lifestyle.
Originally I was going to go to India, but then when I saw the teepee, the first time I got brought here and I saw the teepee, I just felt that there was this place I wanted to be living. And then I just stayed here because there was people there and it was good. It was just a good place for me to be.
How did you hear about it, this place?
Well, I didn't hear really about it. I just came to visit with other people. Came with other people who were visiting some other people. I didn't know I was going to the Tipi village in the first place. I just came here without knowing and then found that it was a suitable place for me to be. I like the simplicity of Tipi. It felt like I could live in a teepee. I could live of nothing because it looked like if you get the well, it was maybe idealistic at the time. But I felt like I could find my wood, my water. Providing myself with a bit of canvas wasn't too difficult at the time to make the teepee. It seems like I could get away from the normal. I would say this, the normal obligation of life of working 8 to 5. I felt like there was maybe a way. And I wanted to be close to nature, very close to nature anyway.
It's a very cooperative way of living. You're living close together with your neighbours. And we've got, in the bottom of the valley, a big communal teepee. And that we have parties in and sit around singing and drumming and so on. So we have a lot of social life and interaction and much closer than the majority of communities in the outside world are nowadays, because in most of the outside world, that sense of community that was so prevalent 50 years ago, 40 years ago, has very much disappeared now.
You find it's broken a lot by things like that, by the modern world intruding.
Well, you can't opt out of society. You can't get away from it all. And those jets are very much a reminder to us, because you can go, as we've done, physically as far away from it as you can get anywhere in Britain. And still the war machines come thundering overhead at 150 feet. And it's very much a reminder that whatever you do, you're part of it. You have to interact with the world outside.
The immediate world outside is the farmers whose land surrounds the hippies' camp. Most have farmed their land all their life, like Ron Jenkins. Most want the hippies evicted.
Very good.
The community around the hippies is almost entirely Welsh-speaking and is very close-knit. When the hippies arrived in the 70s, they weren't accepted into that community. Yet, nor did they in the early days face hostility. The antagonism of the farmers towards the hippie camp grew during those early summers when hundreds more were attracted to the peaceful countryside of West Wales. The farmers then saw their traditional way of life under threat.
We are a community of farmers that's been farming here all our lives. We were brought up here and we took over the farms after our fathers. And we all know each other except for these people. We don't mind how they live as long as they live to themselves and not interfere with us. It doesn't matter at all for us how they live. But they interfere with us, that's the thing. We got to keep an eye on the land every day. So the last 5-6 years, it's been a very hard going here. But all the community is against them.
It was spring 1976 that the first handful of hippies started to arrive in the valley. The beauty and isolation of the countryside attracted a stable community of about 100, with sometimes up to 300 more in the summer. They came too because farmers sold them parcels of the land they were on, where they then built their new homes. The idea for the teepees was copied from the Sioux Indians. Inside they're dry and they're cheap to make, the poles coming from local woods. Only the canvas needs to be bought. But by the beginning of the 80s, local farmers were regularly reporting problems with dogs killing sheep. And controversially, the children were taught in the camp by Rick Mays, who quickly established himself as the hippies' spokesman and defender. But their problems began to mount. One morning, 2.5 years ago,
well before 7 o'clock this morning, dozens of police and hired-in vehicles formed up at one of the marshalling points near Llanfynydd at the so-called Tipi Valley, a 140-acre site on Mynydd Vigin. Uniformed officers guarded each tent while detectives searched inside for drugs and people on their wanted list. Cannabis plants were quickly found, some clearly hurriedly dropped on pathways and in surrounding scrubland, while in and around polythene sheeting greenhouses, hundreds of thriving plants were growing in market garden profusion.
Several people from the teepee camp were charged with drug offences after that raid, which had confirmed many of the fears of neighbouring farmers. But disputes continued as local people increased pressure on Deneverell Council over the catalogue of problems they believed the hippies caused.
Since they've come here about 12 years ago, we've had them coming into the dairy on the farm there, taking water and things without asking. We've had them cutting trees down without asking, using the boundary fence as a clothesline, and the dogs troubling the sheep and things.
What sort of things do their dogs do?
Well, they just chase sheep and kill them. Now and again, we do follow the dogs back down to the valley. We do follow them back down to the valley, and we ask them kindly now if they will put the dogs down, and if they don't, we, well, as a local farmer, we'll all go together and put the dogs down for them.
What do you mean by that?
We shoot them.
Without the permission of the hippies?
Yes. We never get any trouble then, till the following season perhaps. If we show them that we are afraid of them, and we won't do a thing with them. But we go down there like and show we are the boss, you know. As long as they leave us alone, we'll leave them alone.
Have you shot the dog in front of the family, in front of the children?
No, not in front of the children, no. We never do that.
So what do you do?
We take the dog a little bit further down and destroy him there and then.
So you steal the dog?
Well, if you want to put it like that, yes.
Living close to nature, we believe that all the earth is sacred. Traditionally, wells have always been sacred too. They've been called holy wells. Nearly every well in the olden days was a holy well. The reason for this is that you are what the water is that you drink. If you drink polluted water, your body becomes polluted. If you pollute the land that you live on, the water you drink becomes polluted. Therefore, the wells to us are holy places.
They trespass on the land, and I get threats of them. They even threat to burn my hay shed down.
Tell me about that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I told them to get off the land one day, and he said, well, if you stop me going over the land, I'll burn your hay shed out. And the dogs have been killing sheep, and my fencing posts have been taken, and they've been trespassing all over the land.
Are you sure it was one of the hippies who threatened to burn down
Yes,
the hay shed?
he's still there now. I could pick him out now, he's still there.
Did you go to the police about this?
Yes, I told the police. Well, they did the best they could.
We care for the Mother Earth. She cares for us by giving us pure water. When we take our water from the well, we always say a little prayer of thanksgiving to thank Mother Nature for everything she's given to us.
The greatest problem we've had is problems with dogs and killing. You know, when farmers' dogs kill, you've got somebody that you can reason with. Can I say this? Of all the killing that has been there, not one farmer has been compensated. And another thing then, you take now, if I was coming home from Cumdi at night now, and not too often, but if they were walking the road now, they would stand 3/4 out, forcing whatever car was coming along to stop. And it has frightened many in that way.
How does your wife feel about their presence here?
Well, she always locks the door, what we didn't used to do.
Although we appreciate that not everybody can come and live like we live, we do like living this way, and we are an example of the way people can live. It's not necessary to destroy the planet for human beings to live on it. And so we try to live gently and carefully within nature, as a part of nature.
We've been woken up in the middle of the night, asked for petrol and numerous other things. We've been good. We got a lot of abuse thrown at us over the gate. You know, plenty of things.
Has it affected your family at all?
Yes, since the burglary, the wife and my daughter are both very nervous. Very nervous. When I'm at work, the wife doesn't like being in the house on her own. And my little girl does not like sleeping in her bedroom now because it was the bedroom that the burglar broke through. So she's rather scared now that she's going to be burgled while she's asleep.
And you're sure, are you, that he or they came from Tipi Valley?
He was caught in Tipi Valley. But we wouldn't have caught him unless the regulars up there told us that he was there.
What does that tell you then about the regulars there?
The regulars I don't mind. I don't mind them at all. Because, OK, they paid for their bit of land, they've been there for years, but they're attracting too many outsiders. It's the outsiders that are causing the trouble.
Where are the outsiders coming from?
Oh, they're from all over the place. We've had Germans knocking at the door, French, you know, you name it.
Where are you from, Mr. Ness?
Kent.
How long have you been here?
18 months.
Doesn't that make you an outsider?
No, I'm British. We're all living in Britain, but I've paid for my place. I pay rates. I don't go bothering other people. If they don't bother me, I won't bother them. Just leave me alone.
And altogether, those things combined are enough for you to want them off the land?
Yeah. Yeah, all right, you can't blame all of them for one that burgled us. But then it's got to the stage now with me that hippie's a hippie, and that's it.
So you think they're all tarred with the same brush, do you?
No, but I don't know the good ones from the bad ones. They'll have to put a badge on saying I am good. And until I can tell the difference, that's it. You know, I just don't want to know. What I'm saying is, as long as they're up there, they're going to attract the undesirables. And they probably don't want them up there, but they're attracting them. You tell me how you're going to stop that. If they're not there, then they can't attract them, can they?
Well, I would contest all those, some of those remarks. There's a farmhouse there, and there's a farmhouse there, and you go and speak to those people who are our closest neighbours. They like us best. It's sheer prejudice. There's no real foundation. Over the years, because this village has become well known, we've had a number of visitors. Sometimes these visitors can behave in an irresponsible manner. There have been occasions in the past when visitors' dogs have harassed sheep. We don't allow dogs in our village because not only do they harass sheep, but they're a nuisance to us too, so we don't like them. As for, what did you say, a burglary? There are burglaries going on all around the place. I read my local newspaper